Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, dear friends, dear viewers. So for the GM Norm tournament we are having the following list of participants: Vladislav Nozdrachev, Musavi Khalil, Pranet Vupala, Eric Hakopian, Arat Nazari, Alex Sahakian, Robert Piliposyan, Eric Gasparian, Arsen Davtyan, Levon Babujian. They already played 2 rounds. So let's go to see the list of participants for the IM Norm tournament. We do have Georgi Bagaturov, Vahe Sukyasyan, Andrei Okara, David Zakarian, Olga Karmanova, Rudolf Pashikyan, Vache Hovakimyan, Vladimir Shahinyan, Manuel Arakelian, Volodya Torosyan. I just want to say that back then, maybe about 10 years ago, I had the opportunity, and I'm very thankful to Georgi Bagaturov. We had amazing training camp with him, and we analyzed. He was showing us different openings, different positions, different material, but I remember he was showing us his thoughts and his vision of classical variation, and I learned a lot, definitely. So let's start with the GM Norm tournament, and Vladislav Nozdrachev managed to win against Pranet Vupala. I played both the players. Against Nozdrachev, game ended in a draw. Against Vupala, I played only blitz game and I won it. Yes, I should say that earlier I checked the game and I know, at least I saw all the inaccuracies and mistakes by the players. And here I'm not sure that 98 move is that good. As I know, 98 is good when white is already having knight on e2, otherwise white can simply play bishop g3 and then knight f3. For example, here bishop g3, and if knight d6, knight f3. Yes, takes, not much was really happening, and h5, very nice move, h4, takes, yes, bishop takes f5 for example, and rook e8, rook f e8, but even c5, yes, h3, dubious move. Yes, very much playable position. Just I want to say, yes, and in this position Pranet Vupala went a5, and after knight b5, rook b8, a4, I don't see any obvious compensation for the pawn, for the missing pawn. And yes, maybe queen b4, queen h3, queen b2. Yes, he played this, queen takes, f4, rook f3, protecting the pawn on e3, rook e2, and knight c3, f5, rook f2, queen g4, and rook h3. And here Vupala resigned. Another chaotic game, I would say, between the players from Iran. Musavi Khalil against Arad Nazari. Of course, I know both the players. I played them few classical games and a lot of bullet, blitz and rapid. And Najdorf, bishop g5, queen e2, h6, bishop e7 or h6. So this. Prague recently started exploring this queen e2 and some other ideas. Yes, here knight e4 probably works. Knight e4, bishop h4, knight e6, bishop e6. Yes, knight b7, f4, queen c7, g4, b5, bishop g2. Yes, maybe black could push b4, rook b8, e5. Yes, and here d takes c, f takes c, queen e5, knight c6, queen e2. And what about d takes c, knight c6? Just b4. And here knight e6, bishop f6, e takes f, mistake, b takes c, and now rook b2, knight b3, rook a2. Yes, and here knight c5, queen c4, knight b3, c takes b, queen a5, queen a4, takes, and then probably some rook g2. And this is already lost. Yes, this is completely lost. And Musavi won with the white pieces. Alex Sahakian won with the white pieces against Levon Babujian. Again, we see very aggressive play approach by Levon Babujian. Yes, c6 is another move. Takes. Queen b3. Alex went b3. e4, bishop a3. Queen c2. Maybe it takes d, knight d5, knight d5, c takes d, bishop d7. But anyway, white is better. Yes, b5, c takes b, stopping a5, I guess. Rook f8. And here black is having more or less fine position after king h7 or rook c8 and g5. Huge mistake. H takes g and bishop c8. Hard to say. Babujian blundered queen g5, bishop takes c4 tactical idea, or he really wanted to play bishop c8, rook g6. Most likely he blundered queen takes g5, that bishop e4 comes. Yes. And he went bishop c8, takes, rook d8, and rook d5. Bishop h3. Yes, if you go queen g3, then king h1 comes. And here Babujian resigned. Another game, Robert Pileposyan against Eric Gasparian. Hard to say what was really happening. So rook e1. I'm aware that Robert Pileposyan knows this knight e4 move, open variation very well, since in 2024 he played this line against me with the black pieces. So this time with the white pieces he goes rook e1 instead of going d4, and he takes, and knight takes e5. I know that bishop e7 and knight e6 are the moves. This and d4 on bishop d6, knight c3, bishop takes e5, d takes c, queen g6, and takes. Maybe it would have been better just to play queen h4, but I don't think black is having any problems after b6, bishop b7, short castle, or maybe at some point even going long castle. And this looks seems more than fine for black. Here I don't like this rook h5. I like b6, bishop b7, and f4. No doubts Eric Gasparian saw a f4 move, but he had something very concrete in mind, and going g5. Yes, if you take f takes g, knight g5, black is more than fine, and at least we understand the point behind Gasparian's play. He traded his g pawn with the f pawn, but f5, knight f8, but even rook f1 is fine, g4, e6, f takes e, f6, and he simply didn't see this or didn't evaluate precisely. You are not taking my g4 pawn, and I'm taking back on g5, and it's a very good Berlin endgame. And rook g8 with the ideas maybe to go g6, rook d1, king f2, rook e3. You don't have any long castle. Bishop g3, your knight on h7 doesn't do anything. Completely winning position for Robert Piliposyan. And here, yes, if you go bishop e8, bishop e5 comes, and here of course Eric Gasparian resigned. Another game, Arsene Davtyan won with the white pieces against Eric Hakopian. We see that Armenia does have many players, young players with the rating 24 above. For example, Eric Hakopian, Arsene Davtyan is about like very close to 2400. We do have Robert Piliposyan, we do have Eric Gasparian, also Alex Sahakian. Yes, all of them are very young and close to 2400 or even above. Yes, sideline or something very aggressive by Eric Hakopian. a5, all this we can understand. Rook b8, maybe a6, maybe b6, a takes b, c takes b, king h7, knight f1, knight h5. Engine doesn't like at all these ideas. Going f5, f5, e takes f, and now if g takes f, d4 ideas are coming, and maybe after e4 I do have knight g5, a6, bishop d5, knight g3, bishop b3. Yes, white is definitely better, and I like this move by Arsene Davtyan, rook a4 and rook h4. Very classy way to proceed. Takes, and now bishop takes h6. Yes, I played all of them. I know how strong they are, how well they can play. Rook h4, knight f3 attacking the pawn, queen takes d5, knight g5, queen g5, queen d7 is coming, and then queen g4 or rook g4, queen c4, d4, and here Eric Hakopian resigned. Let's move to check second round. We see that Branet Vupala drew against Erik Hakopian, and again the same opening. Instead of going h6 and d6, g6, bishop g7, Erik Hakopian goes bishop c5, c3, d6, b4, bishop b6, a4, a5, b5, knight d7, knight bd2, short castle, knight g6, d4, and I myself wanted this line to play with the white pieces a few times, and I can say that Nadirbek Abdusatorov also played against Alexander Grishuk, if I'm not mistaken. Bishop g4, yes, strongest move. Queen c2, maybe rook e8 is not the strongest actually. h3, yes, engine likes some queen d7 or knight h5. And yes, if you take h6, what is maybe slightly better, bishop h5, g4, bishop g4 takes knight g4. So this is already unpleasant. Rook e1, knight h5, yes, g3 or knight c4, knight h4, queen e2, queen d3, this is fine. Rook a2, king h2, rook e2. Branet Vupala plays very good. And now f4, king g2, rook e6, g4, queen g6, queen g3. White is just very slightly better. I guess if he takes d, then we maybe play just f4. Rook e4, rook e4, rook e4, f5, h5, f3, h takes g, h takes g, e takes d, knight b6, and here d3 idea was working, but c takes b, c takes d, and d5, e5, f5, but black is in some trouble after g5 along h file, I guess. So this, rook c8, queen h4, king f7, rook e8, takes. Black doesn't have any problems, and now black is already close to winning, and black is already winning. And knight d4, just rook e c7 or rook b4, and now white is getting some hopes. Rook f5, important move, and rook c1, activating the rook, and rook d1, again it takes, rook f4, rook c8, e6. So this rook f4, rook takes a4, rook d4, rook d4, rook takes c5, and Erik Hakopian didn't play rook e5, rook d6, king g5, rook b6, rook e3, king f2, rook e7. So he went there, rook a4, king f7, king f4, king e6, rook d4, a4, rook d6, king f5, yes, it shows that game ended in a draw, but somehow I do have very big doubts. And we see that Eric Gasparian lost with the white pieces against Arsène Davtyan, and again Italian, and a5, rook e1, h6, knight bd2, short castle, h3, and here queen b8 is another move. I had something similar against Pavel Elyanov recently in Czech league. Yes, knight d7, another major move, Knight f1, d5 and f5 are the moves. f5 e takes f, bishop f5, knight g3, bishop g6, bishop e3, not the best move. Queen f6, bishop e3, rook e3, queen f6 would have been better. And here d4, knight e4, takes, king h7, black is fine, bishop e3, knight e7, knight g6. Yes, around equal position, maybe a tiny better for white. Yes, b4, b takes c, b takes c, d takes c, bishop f1, and simply blundering the pawn. Wow. Yes, if rook d6 takes b4, b3, completely lost for white. Yes, and here Eric Gasparian resigned. Yes, I very much hope that Eric Hakopian won this game, because somehow to agree in a draw when evaluation is minus 6, even against Pranet Vupala. Levon Babujan lost with the white pieces against Robert Piliposyan. Let's see what happened there. Bishop g5, this is well-known line, and here Babujan went bishop b5, h4, bishop e5, short castle. This line is very well known, bishop c6, b takes c, and queen a4. Yes, bishop c3, b takes c, bishop d7, black is already much better. Knight d8, knight d6. Yes, around equal position, bishop d6 takes queen a3, bishop h2, bishop f5, short castle, knight c4. And this is very unpleasant because bishop on f5 controls b1 square, and white simply doesn't have flexible pieces. Very classic game so far by Robert Piliposyan, and trading the bishop with the knight, knight d2, activating the king. Maybe some hopes, f4. Yes, very unpleasant position, takes. Yes, Robert Piliposyan won with the black pieces, and we do have Nazari Arad against Alex Sahakian. Game ended in a draw. Bishop e3, d6, a4, bishop e3, f takes c, short castle, bishop e6, knight d2, knight b4, queen e7. Yes, a5 maybe would have been better. Black doesn't have any problems. Yes, black is maybe slightly yes, not much. and the game ended in a draw. And we have another game. Nozdrachev won with the white pieces against Musawi. And this line, 92, f6, c3, short castle g3, f takes, d takes, b5, knight b6, b3, d4, bishop f2, d takes c, knight takes c3, queen d2, queen c7, bishop g2, rook d8, queen b2. And this is already very unpleasant position for black. Yes, queen e2, maybe queen c3 would have been better. Again, black doesn't have problems. Rook a c8 was there. Takes h6 or a5. Queen c6, f5, king f7, g4, king e7, queen b4, king f7, king g3, and here g5. King e7 would have been better, g5, f6. This is completely lost. And here Musawi resigned. So let's see the standings after 2 rounds. We are having 3 players, 2 out of 2, Nozdrachev, Davtyan, Piliposyan. We are having Alex Sahakian 1.5. We are having Musawi 1 point, and then Nazari, Hakopian, Pranet half point, and Gasparian, Babujan. They unfortunately didn't score points yet. Yes, Hakopian's game ended in a draw. Just I want to, yes, first round of IM Norm tournament. Surprising results. For example, Karmanova Olga won against Vahe Sukyasyan, and Vahe recently had amazing results. He came second in Yerevan Open. No, I apologize, Margaryan Memorial. And beating Pranesh M. Yes, throughout the game he had better position, everything was under control, but somehow something went wrong. Definitely this is the prep of the day by David Zakarian. I should say that I'm not familiar with him. I don't think I know how does he look. Yes, I just don't know how he looks like. So this e4, knight g5, c6. Yes, if knight takes e4, then takes d5, queen a4. And here, of course, Alexander Khalifman in his video course on Levitov chess, he covers b5, c takes b, d5, if I'm not mistaken. d5, c takes d, b5. Now we can see that queen c2 is the best move. C takes d, knight takes b5, and now knight a6. Again, queen c6 is the best move, but surprisingly David Zakarian didn't know, because he already spent about 20 and more minutes, as well as Vache Hovakimian. And now queen d7. If you take queen d7, bishop d7, like, is more or less fine, and here bishop c5. And you know, now the best move is to play g3, and Vache played g3. And now short castle, bishop h3, queen b5, bishop c8, knight b4, so knight g4. Yes, bishop h3 was played, h5. Knight takes c4, d takes c, queen e4, king d8, and here short castle, queen b5, d4 or d4, bishop b7, queen d3. White is just winning, 2.4. Queen d3, huge inaccuracy, huge blunder, and this is already much better position for black. Rudolf Pashikian won, but because of in this more or less around equal position, Volodya Torosyan played this and allowed queen g4 and queen e7, rook f7, takes. This is very unpleasant position. Later on, maybe he got Volodya Torosyan maybe got some hopes, small hopes, but eventually did not manage to save the game. And this game as well, we should say that Khalifman covers this line for white. He recommends 4 knights, bishop b5, and knight takes c5, knight takes c4, knight takes c4, queen d4 or queen d5, a short castle, queen e5, d4, and if I'm not mistaken, queen f5 is the best move. Knight g3, something very similar. Khalifman on Levitov chess, he recommends. Yes, later on I should say that Andrei Okara got completely winning position, and as you can see, king f1, black is much better, takes. And even after this, almost any move makes a draw. King e3, rook g5 or f3, but bishop g3, and now after king d4, rook a2 ideas are coming, but Andrei Okara didn't see it, and game ended in a draw. Yes, Georgy Bogaturov, he had some pressure. Already we can see that he was better. Maybe it was, yes, probably around here. He had some pressure, because later on, I guess, game ended in a draw. About second round, we see that Andrei Okara lost with the white pieces against Vaya Sukyasyan. We see that David Zakarian drew against Karmanova Olga. We see that Volodya Torosyan won against Vache Hovakimian. We see that Vladimir Shahinian lost against Rudolf Pashikian, and Georgy Bogaturov won against Manvel Arakelian. Let's see the standings for them. Rudolf Pashikian is having 2 points out of 2, and then Karmanova, Bagaturov, Zakarian are having 1.5 points out of 2. Kiasian, Torosian 1 point out of 2. Shahinian, Okara, Arakelian half point out of 2, and Vakimian unfortunately didn't score points yet. Of course, dear friends, dear viewers, please understand I don't have anything against covering B tournament as well. I am Norm tournament as well and covering all the games, but unfortunately we don't have that much time to check all the games. I'm sure, and as I showed, many interesting fighting openings, lines, positions. I just want to recommend this idea by Andrei Okara, who went G point, again this, and bishop g5, h6, bishop d2, and here in this position queen e2 or maybe short castle, he goes g4 and g5 and knight takes, knight a2, knight a4 would have been better. Very interesting chess. Knight f7 and game ends in a draw, but he decided to sacrifice pawn on h file. Still, it looks very active for white. King e2 or long castle, he goes this. He could take knight h5 and then rook f1, rook d f1, and now a5, and black is already better. A4, a takes b would have been better, and again knight g6, f takes g, bishop e5, king g8, bishop takes h8, yes, bishop h8, a takes b, bishop f6, yes, and rook takes, bishop g4 is coming, and now bishop g4, very classy move. Queen g4, bishop g5, and then queen takes e5 ideas are working. Thank you very much